God of War 6 big leak is here. And it's not just a new setting. Kratos is reportedly heading to Egypt, and he may be trading in the Leviathan axe as his main tool for a giant curved Egyptian sword. This leak points to a full-on soft reboot of the franchise, but it's not the only God of War game in the works. A second, completely different title set in Greece is also reportedly in development. And today, we're breaking down exactly what this two-game strategy means for the future of the entire franchise. Reliable insiders, including Tom Henderson, are reporting that the next mainline game, God of War 6, is set in Egyptian mythology. The action will allegedly be another soft reboot, much like 2018 was, and will also include a new signature weapon to define the era, an Egyptian sword. Second, there is also a 2.5D Metroidvania-style game in a smaller scale under development. The spin-off is also said to feature a younger Kratos in the Greek era, and the fighting system is more like the classic hack-and-slash titles. So, now we get to the why this is all unfolding, and we begin with the mainline sequel, God of War 6. The greatest aspect of this puzzle is the return of Cory Barlog. Remember, he directed the 2018 masterpiece, but stepped back for Ragnarok, letting Eric Williams take the lead. This wasn't a vacation, this was strategic. Reports have confirmed that planning for the next saga began before Ragnarok even shipped. Barlog was laying the groundwork for this next massive pivot. For a while, rumors pointed to him working on a new sci-fi IP, but recent, credible reports from insiders like Jason Schreier have shut that down. The new info asserts that Barlog's project is not a new IP, but will feel like one. This perfectly describes another God of War soft reboot. It's the same IP, but a totally new feel, just like 2018 was. This is not just a sequel. It's a new foundation. This move to Egypt isn't a random dart throw either. It's been the leading fan theory for years, precisely because Santa Monica teased it themselves. Back in God of War 2018, we saw Tyr's Vault, which contained artifacts from other mythologies, including the Egyptian Eye of Horus. This was a deliberate breadcrumb. They were telling us where they could go, and now it seems they've committed. This is more than a change of scenery. It's a fundamental shift. The Norse mythology was defined by its cold, claustrophobic forests and the looming threat of Fimbulwinter. Egypt is the exact opposite. Vast, scorching deserts, ancient, towering monuments, and a pantheon of gods who are far more intertwined with the mortal world. This setting allows for a completely different tone, and more importantly, a new Kratos. The Kratos of the Norse saga was a father, defined by his relationship with Atreus. With Atreus now on his own journey, who is Kratos? This reboot is a chance to explore him as a solitary figure again, a stranger in a strange land, forced to forge new alliances and face a pantheon that operates on a completely different set of rules. And that new foundation starts with the weapon. The leak specifying a giant curved Egyptian sword as the signature weapon is the most critical detail. This isn't just adding another weapon to the arsenal, like the Draupnir spear. This implies a new core combat philosophy. The Leviathan axe defined the Norse era's combat. It was heavy, methodical, and built around the incredible recall mechanic. The Blades of Chaos were there for fast crowd control, a link to his past. This new Egyptian sword, possibly a Khopesh, suggests something entirely different. The source notes it's giant, which could imply a two-handed stance, or perhaps a more technical, momentum-based fighting style. This could be the high-damage, single-target boss killer that the other weapons weren't. The source wonders if the blades and axe will return, and while that would be awesome, a true soft reboot might shelve them at least for a while. Think about 2018. They took the blades away to force us to master the axe. They'll likely do the same here, to force us to master this new sword. This is how they make the game feel new, and avoid it just being Ragnarok 2 Egyptian Vacation. This new weapon, combined with a new setting, also opens the door for the most requested structural change, a true open world. The Norse games were wide linear, with hub and spoke areas, but a move to Egypt, with its vast deserts and the Nile Delta, is the perfect excuse for Santa Monica to make their Elden Ring leap. The source material speculates on this, and it makes perfect sense. Imagine Kratos on a skiff, navigating the Nile, discovering hidden tombs, and battling massive sand creatures in a seamless world. This structure also fixes one of the main critiques of the 2018 game, enemy variety. An open world allows them to populate the land with dozens of unique mini-bosses, creatures, and hidden challenges, rather than relying on recycled trolls. This is how you define a new era. Now, let's talk about that 2.5D Metroidvania game, because this isn't just a random side project. It's a brilliant business move. Game budgets for titles like Ragnarok are astronomical, and the wait between them is getting longer and longer. We're talking 6, maybe 7 years. Sony cannot let its biggest, most prestigious IP sit dormant for that long. We just saw Ubisoft hit an absolute grand slam with Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. It was a smaller budget, high-quality Metroidvania that revitalized an IP, pleased old-school fans, and reviewed incredibly well. You can be damn sure Sony was watching. This 2.5D game, which is being backed by both Henderson and Jeff Grubb, solves two massive problems at once. First, it fills the content gap between Ragnarok and God of War 6. Second, it directly serves the very vocal part of the fanbase that misses the old Kratos. The over-the-shoulder, narrative-heavy style of the Norse saga is incredible, but it alienated players who just wanted the visceral, high-combo, arcadey chaos of the original trilogy. This 2.5D Metroidvania lets them have their cake and eat it too. They can keep the mainline games as deep, Oscar-worthy cinematic experiences while using this smaller title to deliver pure, unadulterated, fast-paced hack-and-slash combat. The Metroidvania label is key. It implies ability gating, Kratos finding the boots of Hermes to dash, where the Icarus wings to double jump, not just as a tool, but as a key to unlock previously unreachable parts of the map. It's a perfect blend of classic God of War progression with a modern, beloved genre. So, when do we get these? This is where the whole strategy locks into place. The 2.5D game is almost certainly coming first, and likely sooner than we think. The God of War Amazon Prime series is in production and expected in the next couple of years. That show is confirmed to be adapting the Norse saga. Sony will not let that show launch without a God of War game on the shelves to capitalize on the hype. And what's the perfect game to launch alongside it? A 2.5D game set in Greece. It's brilliant counter-programming. It serves as a history lesson, re-educating all the new fans from the show on Kratos' original story, a story the show won't tell for years, if ever. This also answers the final and most worrying question: is God of War 6 even a PS5 game? Frankly, it's looking increasingly doubtful. If Ragnarok wrapped in late 2022, and Cory Barlog's team, as the source suggests, started full development around that time, these games take 5 to 6 years minimum. That's a conservative estimate for a full-scale reboot in a new engine, possibly building an open world. That simple math puts a potential release squarely in 2027 or 2028. And what else is rumored to launch in that exact window? The PlayStation 6. It seems very, very likely that God of War 6 is not a PS5 game. It's a cross-gen title at the absolute best, but more realistically, it's being built from the ground up as a defining, system-selling launch title for the PlayStation 6. The 2.5D game isn't just a snack to hold us over, it's very likely the last God of War title we'll see on the PS5. This two-game strategy seems to be the new future for the franchise. Massive, generation-defining AAA reboots every 6 years with focused, high-quality, old-school spin-offs to fill the gaps, but it definitely creates a split in the identity of the franchise. So I want to know your take. Are you more excited for the massive open-world Egyptian reboot that will define the next generation? Or are you more hyped for the 2.5D return to Greek-era hack-and-slash combat? Let me know which one you'd play first in the comments. If you appreciate this kind of deep dive analysis, subscribe for more.